Welcome to the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi After the Show podcast, where we hang out a little bit longer. And, you know, Sam is the food dude if you've been a regular, part of Murphy, Sam, and Jodi for a long time. And so when something comes up new in the food dude, if any of us find it in the store, we'll bring it in.
Get it.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
And so Sam brought in the soft bake version of the Nutty Buddies that I guess Little Debbie just introduced, right?
Mm-hmm. And then they have those other ones that aren't out yet that look like Twinkies that are Nutty Buddy.
Right.
Yeah, we did those the other day in the food dude.
Oh, they're Nutty Buddy flavored, but they look like Twinkies?
They're the Twinkie shape. They have the chocolate on the outside, peanut butter in the middle.
Yeah, and you know the tricky thing about snacks is they are so good, and every company now is coming out with all sorts of iterations of any of them. I mean, look at Reese's and Lay's and Doritos. They're like the prototype for how many different brand extensions can you create.
True.
The thing is, it's all good. But it's not. but the challenge is when you're trying to be like somewhat diet conscious on some things, you really have to.
You have to
you
reel
have
it
to
in.
stop. Yeah, exactly. And so Jodi did not partake in the Nutty Buddy cream pie that Sam brought. I am going to.
You want one now?
But
I'm going to try it here in the podcast, Murphy. I know you want one.
Well, I'm going to take one bite, and here's why.
Oh, they're cute. They look like peanuts on the
Like
outside.
moon pie.
I'm only going to take one bite because
That's what you think.
And you got to realize, I love Little Debbie, and I would continue to buy them. And this is not anything anti-Little Debbie at all. It's just the reality of you look at the label. Did you see what the label says?
Mm-mm.
So it's 130 calories.
Sam doesn't read labels.
Right. So this thing, it's 130 calories. But wait, that's only for 1/3 of the cookie.
Who eats 1/3 of that?
That's my point. So the entire thing is almost 400 calories.
Whoa.
And
Small
so-
price to pay.
Right. See, but to me, when you're trying to watch it, I'm going to have to do something else for 400 calories. That's not worth it.
We'll
to
take
me.
1/3 of it and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Because I'm having to, and it's not like I'm, an obsessive diet, person.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, you can't trick the math. That's why the labels are there. The calories are the calories. They are what they are. And so if I'm trying to lose, I can't plump down a 400 calorie,
Wow, it smells exactly like a Nutty Buddy. It smells exactly like a Nutty Buddy.
You know what? It tastes like one too,
Yeah.
Jodi.
Without the
the crunch.
Without the crunch.
Yeah.
Good.
But it's good. So I guess I'm going to have to stick to the 1/3. But that's my problem is willpower.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's why you shouldn't have had a bite. Sam, I am grateful that you brought it in, and I do think it's cool. I never want you to misunderstand because you did that recently. You brought something in that I didn't eat.
I've got it in my head now that if I bring in stuff like this full of sugar, you're probably not going to try it unless it's something that brings you back to childhood.
Yeah.
Like Reese's Cups or any of those kind of candies.
just-
And that one brings you back to childhood right there.
It does. It has to be worth it for me. Okay. I have these rules in my head, and when I look at that, I make a quick decision: worth it or not. So some things that you bring in, I do partake in, and usually I know I have trouble not eating it all or whatever. I know, to me, I know what that's going to taste like. I know it's going to be just a softer version. It's not worth it. If I'm going to splurge, I want it to be something really good.
But won't it remind you of Pawpaw when you're eating it?
I can be reminded of Pawpaw for a lot of reasons.
Hey, look, he ate one for breakfast every day, and he lived to be 93 years old. So.
I will tell you a funny story about what I used to do with Nutty Buddies when I was little, when we would have those, and when I would sneak one. Because
You mean the old traditional kind?
Yes. And I was not supposed to eat chocolate or peanut butter when I was a little girl. So believe me, I had to steal them from Pawpaw's pantry. And I would take one out and I would eat. This is gross, I guess, but I would take it apart. It's layers of little wafers with peanut butter and I would literally take it apart and eat it and make it last. Isn't that weird?
No, that's not weird. I think I used to do that with
Oh.
Oreos.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
everybody does that with Oreos.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it for me. That's all. If you brought something else in here that I couldn't resist, I would
Well, for
try
you,
it.
it's usually chips. Any kind,
It's salt.
Yeah, salty. Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
salt
Salty
over
snacks and all
sweet.
that kind of stuff. But, because for me, the common thread, for all of this is when I start to overindulge in any snacks or things like that, I gain the weight. I mean, I just do. And, so a couple of things for me. That's why I tell people, like, being diagnosed with type 1 diabetes is actually one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Sure.
because it forced me to actually pay attention to my health. I mean, I was doing some bad stuff in my 20s. I was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day. All kinds.
You were
of,
eating Pop-Tarts for breakfast with a big thing of chocolate milk.
Oh yeah,
which is
man.
nothing wrong with Pop-Tarts either, but in moderation.
Yeah.
And you're not a moderation type person.
No, I'm not.
You're an excessive type.
And here's the trick too, because what you were saying a minute ago, something that's a happy childhood memory, you tend to carry into adulthood, but you have to remember, as an adult, your body is not the same as it was when you were 10, 15, 20 years old.
Yeah.
You can't eat like that. And for me, I've already got insight into my body, so I've got 30 to 50% heart blockage, which is normal for the age. But once you start to realize, and again, I'm not saying it's those snacks doing that. It's the total picture of everything.
Life. Yeah.
You can
It's
have
life.
Little Debbie, and I'm still going to. In fact, there's nothing that I've actually cut out of my life.
And that's
period.
good.
But it's a mindset thing. Candy is not something that stays in the house and is part of regular diet. It's a treat when we want it, or ice cream or something like that. And so, if I didn't shift to that mindset, my compulsive, want to eat and all that kind of stuff, it keeps me overweight.
I think you have to remind yourself that you are making a choice. I have the choice to not eat that. The only thing I've ever worried about is that you would be upset that I didn't eat. That's why I'm glad we're having this conversation, Sam. Because when you bring something to work into the room, I used to feel rude for not eating it.
No, don't feel rude. I know when you're not going to eat it and eat it. They have facts on the back of this box.
Yeah.
This is what you get for reading the box. But see, I remember a while back you used to talk about how your papa, it was his favorite, the Nutty Buddy. And I'm thinking, weren't those called Nutty Bars?
Yeah,
What
they
called
were.
Nutty Bars?
Something
And sure
different.
enough, on here it says in 2016, Nutty Bars became Nutty Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why they changed the name.
Because it sounds cuter. Nutty Buddy.
Each Nutty Bar has 4 crispy wafers stacked with creamy peanut butter cream. Then Jodi used to pull them apart.
I did to make it last because I was having to sneak it.
And it's from 1959. First Nutty Buddy bar.
But to me, the Little Debbie stuff is, my mom always had them in the pantry, and so they were a definite part of childhood, and they are happy. And when I want one, obviously I'll have one. But like Jodi's saying, it's
It's got to be worth it.
it's the choice. I was one of those at first when they started requiring the calories be listed on everything. I thought that was annoying, but maybe it's because I didn't actually want to think. But it helps me to make those decisions, which I think is really what the intention is, right? Doesn't mean you can't have it. It just means, does the math work for the rest of your day?
It's informed.
Yeah, and so it's frustrating to kind of walk away from some of those things. And I'm not a Tom Brady type, nor do I look like him. But it's preservatives. Okay, yeah. I get it. I understand the cleaner diet would be the better way to go. Preservatives have been in our food since we were children, right? Exactly. And that doesn't scare me, and I try to balance myself, out. So what I'm getting at is I'm not like obsessive about it. It's that one piece that if I remember that part, it just gets to be easier for me to, not wake up one day and I've put on 20 pounds all of a sudden.
I will tell you what is hard for me to resist besides salty snacks. If you had brought, some new Lay's in here, I would be partaking a little bit, handful at a time.
Yeah,
but
you destroyed those Doritos a couple of weeks ago.
I did. What were they called?
The Simply White Cheddar.
Yeah,
oh my
those were
God,
really
those
good.
were so good.
As soon as I left here, I went and bought another bag. They're gone.
See, that's the thing with me with a bag of chips, probably more than sweets, honestly. So you can have your fill of sweets and go, okay, done with that.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, except for ice cream for me. Ice cream is a definite, Achilles heel for me. But snacks, that. If we bring the whole bag to the table, then the whole bag doesn't go back to the pantry because there's nothing left in the bag.
I've never thought about it.
Mr. Convenience Store here.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, right, exactly.
Always involved jerky and a bag of chips.
Right, exactly. Well, certainly, Munchos or something like that.
Yeah.
Here's a true story. One thing that I have found I've had to learn to navigate it, is Murphy likes to order dessert. Anytime we ever go to eat, it's more rare for you not to order dessert.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, like you did that the last time we took the girls out to eat, we thought we were done. I was about to get my purse, and Murphy goes, "I'd like to order some cheesecake, please." And I was like, "What?" I knew this place had great cheesecake with homemade blueberry topping on top. And I knew that was going to be hard for me. So I had 2 bites. They were delicious. And then I got up because I was just like, I can't.
Well, and look, I got one slice and 4 spoons. Because we don't get, we really don't buy individual desserts like that anymore for that reason. But I
wasn't going to have any. But what I'm saying is that was still worth it.
Yeah,
it's
worth it.
And the difference in that is it's not sealed up in a package with preservatives or whatever. It's different, right? I mean, I know it's still not something that your diet is going to be made up at 3 meals eating that, but it's made from natural ingredients, freshly prepared, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is a difference there. But yeah, you're amazing with that discipline, Jodi, and I think she has found
you think that.
Well, I think you are. So not having it in the house is the biggest key, right? I mean, that's really, if it's not there, you're not going to eat it.
You're going to go to a convenience store and get it.
So what are we going to do with the box? Nobody wants to eat them. Do you want to bring them home to the girls?
Well, to check the expiration date.
May
as long
15th.
as I can. Oh, so I got to eat a third of one every single day.
You don't want them? I thought you liked them. You thought they were okay.
No, but this isn't the kind of thing I buy.
Okay, Sam.
I usually don't buy these. When I saw these, it's like, oh, well, we got to share these.
Yeah.
So I get them. But yeah, I don't want this in my house.
Oh.
Because I'll be hearing it from the pantry. Hey, come get another one.
Precisely, right. Well, don't get rid of them. I mean, they're too good to get rid of. We just have
Murphy wants to eat it
Mr. 1/3 over here.
1/3 at a time.
Missed any part of the show? Get it all on the Murphy, Sam, and Jodi podcast.